All right, guys, to watch this video for Monday, September 23rd. Let's just start with this quick note, reminding you I'm a day trader, and I'm just showing you charts that might give me a trade on Monday, right? I'm not, none of these are overnight holds. None of these are meant to be overnight holds. And then I'll only trade anything on this list or the morning gap playlist that we add to this if I get an intraday A+ setup, all right? So I'm showing you the SPY. We kind of rolled over a little bit. Let's switch to 5-minute candles. And you can kind of see I had that harsh sell-off middle of the day, and that sell-off pretty much held. In my opinion, when they were hanging out here near all-time highs for about a week, very low volume, very narrow ranges, the high odds play is to the short side, right? It's typical here to get some selling. Having said that, I don't live and die by the SPY or what I think it's going to do. I do what I'm going to do here, and that's build a watch list and hopefully catch some trades in it the next day. So, STX is where we'll start. Really nasty day on Thursday, kind of a more narrow range on Friday. I didn't take a trade in on Friday. It was on bounce watch. It stays on bounce watch. We'll see if it gives us an A+ setup on Monday. Same thing with Disney. I was kind of hoping Disney would get down to this line here, and maybe it will. Maybe it will on Monday. We'll see, but I'm still watching Disney for a bounce again. An intraday bounce, right? None of these are overnight holds. Tractor Supply, just another red day. TSCO. I look to the left, and it is interesting to me if it can flush 90. It did it back here and here. So it's fallen from over 106 and just straight down for almost basically about 2 weeks. So I'm just looking for a one-day snapback bounce. We'll see if it gives us a setup. Roku, another ugly day in this one. This is just fallen from, let me see what the high was, 176-ish down to, at one point intraday on Friday, down to 103 something. I mean, it's quite the fall. If you take the last 2.5 weeks out of it, it was the strongest stock in the world, and now it's just been decimated. You have some, you look to the left, you have some support. I'd like to see 100 flush. But who knows if we'll get it. That might be an interesting place for a snapback bounce, but certainly goes on bounce watch. I think it's overdone to the downside in the short term. Chewy, CHWY, this thing, ever since it hit about 35 back here, has really been in a free fall. Obviously, there's no chart support to look at because it's a recent IPO, but I think it's getting ahead of itself to the downside. Again, just looking for a snapback bounce in that one. FNKO. A few days down into some nice support around $22. It also, you go back here around 21. So it's in an area, right in this area where it's overdue for a bounce because it's fallen pretty quickly into support. Let's see, PIR, thin stock, but one of my favorite chart setups. You had some really nice volume back here, and it topped out at 1048, pulled back, and now climbing, and kind of a little cup and handle going on. Looks like last Wednesday it hit 1023, hit 1022 on Friday. I really like, maybe over the quarter, we like quarter number, half number, inflection points, maybe over 1025. A lot of shorts in the name. I like the volume, I like the chart setup, and I like the fact that the 200-day is up here. This just feels like it could explode to the upside and get another short squeeze, which is what I believe this was, because it's holding up so well. Really want to watch that one. One of my favorites going into Monday. RBZ, let me zoom in to show you this one because it's so beaten up. If I zoom in, you can see back here, it popped to 268. And then on Friday, pretty nice move if you look at the range. The range was $1.92 to 274. That's a pretty good move. We'll see. It's not a lot of resistance in the way now out of this kind of range. I don't know. I don't love this stock, but it might have a follow-through day on Monday. We'll see. I'm not in love with it. I'm not sure if it had any news. Whoops, I meant to type in PIRS this time instead of PIR. PIRS, let me pan out a little bit here. Had a nice pop back here to 6. Came back down. Looked like it was rolling over after putting in a lower high. And then a pretty strong day on Friday, especially in kind of a weak tape, right? So Friday's high was 588. Over that, maybe we make a run at and break through these recent highs. It just barely broke 6. So this one, with the relative strength on Friday, captured my interest. PING, there's not a lot to go on here. Recent IPO, that had a pretty decent range in the 2 days it has traded, 1761 all the way up to about 21, exactly 21 actually. So again, there's not really any chart to go on other than it's a recent IPO. It might give a decent setup. Only 2 days of trading so far, so I just threw it on because I didn't have that much to watch. Fitbit, FIT, really nice pop on Friday. 364 to 452, that's a nice pop, but it's worth noting it probably closed in about the middle of its range. So I'm not sure who's winning at this point, bulls or bears, but I think it's worth watching for maybe a red to green on Monday. And then AMSC, don't love this because it's not really a recent high flyer, and that's one of my requirements to trade something, but the chart's kind of interesting. It topped out at basically $10 back here, pulled back in. And the only reason I found this is because you can see the relative volume on Friday was fairly strong. And so, I don't know, if you can picture a line here, you kind of have a little high after a big volume spike, by the way, for this stock. And then you have a lower high, and now it seems to have found support and a little bit of extra volume. I feel like I'm trying to make a case for something that's really not there. The more I talk about this, the less I like it, but I'll keep it on watch. There's not that much to watch, and that's it. I don't love this one, though. Keep that in mind when trading on Monday, because it just doesn't really have really high relative volume. So I'm kind of on the fence as to whether it should be on the list or not, but I'll leave it there. All right, we'll add some gappers to this list in the pre-market and hopefully catch some nice trades on Monday. We'll see you in chat.